Good morning, and welcome to the CalPERS webinar, Understanding Your Retirement Benefit Options. Today's webinar covers how you can use the Retirement Estimate Calculator to get your own numbers and the benefit payment options you can choose from at retirement. You may also be able to leave either a lump sum or continuing monthly benefit to someone else.
Let's start with how you can use the Retirement Estimate Calculator to see your own option amounts. When you're ready, you'll want to order your own estimate to help you plan for retirement. We'd like to explain the criteria for requesting an estimate from CalPERS. When you're within 1 year of retirement, you can order a CalPERS-generated retirement estimate by completing the Retirement Allowance Estimate Request form. You can download this form from Forms and Publications on our website. If you are more than a year away from retirement, use the self-service estimate tools on our website by logging into MyCalPERS with your username and password. Regardless of whether it's a CalPERS-generated estimate or a self-service estimate from MyCalPERS, remember that this is only an estimate. Your actual benefit is determined when you apply for retirement. Changes in pay rate or time base can affect the final calculation. The Retirement Estimate Calculator tool in MyCalPERS is for regular service retirement only. If an estimate cannot be produced for the type of retirement calculation you're looking for, and you're within 12 months of your retirement date, you'll need to submit the Retirement Allowance Estimate Request form. This would include estimates for disability or industrial disability retirement, and if you have a community property claim. To get to the Retirement Estimate Calculator, log into your MyCalPERS account by selecting the MyCalPERS Login button at the top of our website at calpers.ca.gov. Then select the Active Members and Retirees button. This will bring you to the login page. If you already have an account, simply log in with your username and password. If you're new to MyCalPERS, select the Register Now link. Go through the steps to set up your account. Once you've registered, you can then log in. This will bring you to your home page. Now let's meet John. John is a CalPERS member planning for retirement. To help him decide which option is best for him, John runs a retirement estimate through his MyCalPERS account, which will provide estimated dollar amounts for each of the available options. We're going to review his estimate in detail so you can see how the options work. But first, let's introduce the Retirement Estimate Calculator. Once your account is open, select the Retirement tab. You then select the Retirement Estimate Calculator link. To get started on your estimate, select the Start New Estimate button. There are 3 different ways you can input a retirement date. You can select the earliest estimated retirement date. If you're over the minimum requirements for retirement already, it will automatically select today's date. You can choose your age based on whole or quarter-year increments, or you can choose a specific date. In this example, John is choosing to retire on a specific date, July 1st, 2020. You'll also notice to the right, information is provided that explains where you are in the process. In the monthly final compensation field, MyCalPERS may automatically display your estimated final compensation based on your payroll history. It's important to understand that the calculator will only project your base pay rate. If you have any special compensation that your employer reports to us, or if you know you'll have a pay increase in the future, you have the ability of adjusting this information by entering a different amount. If the system does not pre-populate an amount for you, you'll need to supply one. In this example, the amount is $5,758. In this field, you'll select your current work status. You may be full-time, part-time, or you may no longer be employed by a CalPERS-covered employer. If you select part-time, then MyCalPERS will prompt you to provide your time-based information. John is choosing full-time employee. Here is where you'll let the system know if you expect to have any unused sick leave at retirement. Unused sick leave can be converted to service credit at retirement. The more service credit you have, the higher your pension may be. State and school members are eligible to have sick leave converted. If you work for a public agency, your employer must contract for this benefit. If your employer does, you should check with them to see what amount of unused sick leave, if any, can be used in your pension calculation. John selects yes because he has 500 hours of sick leave that he wishes to have calculated into his estimate. This screen is where you choose to include a survivor. In John's case, his employer does contract for survivor continuance, and he's been married to his wife for over a year, so she is his eligible survivor. So in this section, John is choosing yes. And we'll discuss survivor continuance in more detail later on in the presentation. On this section of the calculator, you'll choose whether you want to leave a monthly benefit to someone upon your death and retirement. You can select no beneficiaries, one beneficiary, or two or more beneficiaries. John is choosing one beneficiary. Next, under primary beneficiary's birthday, John enters his wife's date of birth. Remember, the younger your beneficiary for a monthly benefit is, the greater the reduction you'll have to take to your pension in order to fund their benefit. Within that same section, you can choose to leave a beneficiary a specific percentage or choose a dollar amount. John enters 25% and $1,000. To complete your estimate, select the Calculate Estimate button. This page provides the various option types, your monthly allowance, the amount you continue to receive if your beneficiary predeceases you, as well as payments made after your death. At the bottom of this page, you'll have the ability to recalculate or save your estimate scenario. Which option you choose is one of the most important decisions you'll make when you complete your retirement application, because it will affect your retirement income for the rest of your life.
Now that we've gone through how to get an estimate, let's cover your retirement options. Before we go into numbers, there are some terms we need to define so you can understand how the options work. For most of us, the terms beneficiary and survivor sound like the same thing, but at CalPERS they have two distinct meanings. A beneficiary can be anyone you choose to receive a lump sum or lifetime benefit, and it is not set by state law. It's important to note that if you are married or in a registered domestic partnership, but do not name your spouse or partner as your beneficiary, they may still be entitled to a community property share of your retirement, no matter who you name as a beneficiary. A survivor is defined by state law. State law determines who, if anyone, is eligible to receive benefits as a survivor. The survivor and beneficiary can be the same person, and often are, but they don't have to be. Let's explain a little bit about survivor continuance, which may be included in the options you choose. Survivor continuance is a monthly benefit paid after your death in retirement to an eligible survivor. This is an employer-paid benefit that is at no cost to you. Survivor continuance is provided by law to all state and school members. If you're a public agency member, survivor continuance is only available if your employer contracts for this benefit. In order for a survivor benefit to be paid, your employer must contract for the benefit, and you must have an eligible survivor. Even if your employer contracts for the benefit, if you have no eligible survivor at the time of your death and retirement, then no survivor benefit will be paid. Eligible survivors as defined by law are, first, a spouse or registered domestic partner, as long as the marriage or partnership became effective at least 1 year prior to your retirement and is continuous until your death. If there is no spouse or domestic partner, then unmarried children under age 18 would receive the benefit until they turn 18. Next would be an unmarried child who became disabled prior to age 18 and whose continuing disability renders them incapable of holding a job. Last on the list is a parent who is economically dependent upon you for more than 50% of their support. If you don't have any of the persons listed, then the benefit is not paid to anyone. The amount your survivor would receive is based on whether or not you contributed to Social Security during your CalPERS career. If you contribute to Social Security, then your survivor will receive 25% of the unmodified allowance after your death and retirement. If you do not contribute to Social Security, your survivor will receive 50% of the unmodified allowance. We'll explain what the unmodified allowance is in a little bit. Survivor continuance is the same dollar amount regardless of which option you choose or who you name as a beneficiary. Now that we understand what survivors and beneficiaries are, we can begin our discussion of the retirement payment options. The option you choose determines what benefits your beneficiary receives after your death and retirement. You must select a payment option when you submit your retirement application. Payment options require a reduction in your retirement income in order to provide a benefit to someone else. The reduction for a lifetime monthly benefit is based on actuarial figures, based on the age for both you and your beneficiary at the time of your retirement. The younger your beneficiary, the greater the reduction you'll have to take to your pension to fund their benefit. We'll come back to that idea in just a bit. Let's get back to John's estimate, beginning with the unmodified allowance. The unmodified allowance provides the highest monthly allowance paid for life. For John, the unmodified allowance pays $1,753 a month for the rest of his life. With this option, there are no benefits paid out to a beneficiary. Because John's employer contracts for survivor continuance, and he has an eligible survivor, his estimate does show a survivor continuance amount. Because he paid into Social Security during his career, the amount is 25% of his unmodified allowance, which equals $438. This amount will stay the same regardless of the option he chooses. The return of remaining contributions option 1 provides an allowance that's lower than the unmodified allowance. In this example, it's $1,733 instead of $1,753. Upon your death, any unused member contributions in your account will be paid to your beneficiary or beneficiaries in a lump sum. Your contributions are paid out to you as a portion of your allowance over approximately the first 9 to 13 years of retirement, depending on your contribution amount. John's total contributions are $124,615 and change. This amount will be reduced by about $810 each month as a part of what he receives in his allowance. His contributions will be reduced to zero in approximately 12.81 years. This point occasionally causes some worry amongst our members. They look at their estimate and see the line, "Your contributions will be reduced to zero," and think that means their pension will stop. Please note that your CalPERS pension is a lifetime benefit. Once your contributions have been paid out, the difference is picked up by employer contributions and CalPERS investment returns, so your pension doesn't change. Your own estimate will provide information regarding your remaining contributions. The remaining options we'll cover provide a lifetime monthly income to your beneficiary. Since John's beneficiary, his wife, is also his survivor, she receives the amounts listed under both for your beneficiary and for your survivor. Let's begin with the 100% beneficiary option 2. With this option, you see that John takes a reduction from his unmodified allowance of $1,753 to $1,609. If John dies first, his wife's income doesn't change. By adding the $1,171 beneficiary amount and survivor continuance amount together, it equals the same amount John was receiving, $1,609. If both you and your monthly beneficiary die before all of your contributions have been returned to you, The remaining amount will be paid out in a lump sum to your secondary beneficiaries. Next is the 100% beneficiary option 2 with benefit allowance increase. If John's wife predeceases him, his benefit will increase to the unmodified allowance of $1,753. If John dies first, his wife's income doesn't change. We'll add the $1,160 beneficiary amount and the survivor amount together. It equals the same amount John was receiving, $1,598. Remember earlier we said that the younger your beneficiary is, the more of a reduction you'll take to provide a monthly benefit? The previous example was for John and his wife, who was a year younger. Based on the slides we just covered, the 100% beneficiary option would provide a monthly allowance of $1,609, only a $144 reduction to John's unmodified pension of $1,753 to provide that lifetime benefit to his wife. But say John wasn't married, but had a 5-year-old grandchild he wanted to leave a monthly allowance to. By naming his grandchild, John would take a reduction of over $400, reducing his pension to approximately $1,345. Remember, this is a lifetime allowance, so upon John's death, his grandchild would receive this for the rest of their life. Let's move on to John's next option. Suppose he wants to leave his wife a monthly income after he passes away, but the reduction to his pension under the 100% options is too high. He needs more money while alive, and his wife can get by with less after he passes away. Perhaps she has her own retirement income. One of the 50% beneficiary options may meet this need. The 50% beneficiary option 3 pays you more than the $1,609 we covered under the 100% option. In this case, $1,676, because he is choosing to provide a lower amount to his wife if he dies first. In this case, $1,057 a month, which is a bit more than half of what John had received while alive. Remember, she's getting both the beneficiary and survivor amounts. If you don't have survivor continuance or an eligible survivor, it would be an even 50% for your beneficiary. If both you and your monthly beneficiary die before all of your contributions have been returned to you, the remaining amount will be paid out in a lump sum to your secondary beneficiaries. The 50% beneficiary option 3 with benefit allowance increase option pays him $1,670 while alive, but his wife would receive less if he should pass away. In this example, the beneficiary portion is $616. With the survivor continuance, that comes to $1,045 for John's wife. If she should pass away first, John will increase up to the unmodified allowance. Finally, the flexible beneficiary option 4 allows you to designate a specific percentage or specific dollar amount to a beneficiary. For this option, you can name one or more beneficiaries. In this example, John can provide a specific percentage of his benefit to his wife. Or John can choose a specific dollar amount of $1,000 to leave to his wife. Remember, choosing an option is one of the most important things you'll do when you submit your retirement application. It's important to look at your entire retirement income and what you would like to provide to your beneficiary if you should predecease them. Our presentation today was intended to give you an understanding of the retirement payment options. We hope this information has been beneficial in helping you prepare for retirement. We'd also like to mention that this webinar and all of our previous webinars become available as videos on the CalPERS YouTube channel, which can be accessed from our webpage at calpers.ca.gov. And remember, to reinforce the information you've received today, You can always take one of our member education classes, either online or in a classroom setting. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to attend this presentation, and have a great day.